Hello everyone. We will discuss today an interesting poem, Since There Is No Help. Friends, Since There Is No Help is a famous poem by Michael Dayton, and before going to discuss the poem, it is essential to form an idea about the poem and the poet. And so, just let me tell you clearly that Michael Dayton was a great sonneteer. He contributed a lot to the development of English literature. His contribution to the development of English literature can never be undermined. He was such a great scholar who composed so many sonnets of great repute. Since There Is No Help appeared in his famous collection of sonnets, The Idea. So many important works goes to his credit, and this one is the most important to get studied. Friends, Michael Dayton took birth before 1 year Shakespeare in 1563 and he died in 1631. During his lifetime, he he composed so many important poems of great interest, and they are all the jewels in the literary horizon, in the literary cosmos. This poem we are talking about, Since There Is No Help, is also known as Since There Is No Help Left. At some places it has been titled as Since There Is No Help Left. Friends, Since There Is No Help Left is a poem on a velvet who has not proper relations with his lover. A woman who does not have proper relations with his lover has been described here to what the unhappy couple feels is exposed here. A lover, a couple who does not find itself able to live happily with one another, wants to get separated, wants to change their ways of life, their ways in life. And so, the poet clearly, frankly reveals the inner thoughts and feelings of the lovers, of two lovers who are not capable of living together in harmony. Friends, before going to explain the poem, I would like to tell you that this poem has been modeled on the Shakespearean pattern. This poem follows the tradition of Shakespearean sonnet and has 3 quatrains and 1 couplet. Friends, In this poem, the poet uses his famous rhyme scheme A B A B C D C D E F E F and G G, and he also makes full and free use of figurative language here, figures of speech here. This poem is of great importance for the couples who are not capable of living together in peace with harmony. So now just get started the poem and know the essence, know the real gist of the poem the poet wants to convey to one and all. Since there is no help left, come let us kiss and part. In the opening lines of the poem, the poet makes it clear that the lovers are not happy in living with one another. They find life too typical with one another, and therefore they say that there is no way left before us except being parted to live in peace, to live quietly and calmly. Living together, when the things became worst, they decided to part their ways. And it is often seen in the life of common couples, or you can say couples in common. In the beginning, they live with peace, order, stability, but when the things goes ahead, they can't bear living together, and like these lovers complain, like these lovers wish to get separated, but what they must keep in mind will come to understand after the poem gets finished. The sense, the essence of the poem of the poet lies in the concluding couplet. The reality of life comes to man. The reality of life the one gets in the last phase, in the last of life, last phase of life. So just come to the point, just come to the first stanza, first line of the poem. Since there is no help left, the lovers say to each other that since there is no way left before them except to get separated, Therefore, they must kiss one another and part for all the time to come in life, part forever. Since there is no help left, come let us kiss and part. Since we have no other way, so let us finally meet, kiss one another and part forever. As the words come out of the mouth of Velvet, the lover says that you don't worry. No, I have already parted myself from you, and you get no more of me. You will never see me again in life. I have already parted myself from you. So you need not to worry about this thing anymore. I shall never come to you again. I shall never meet you again. And I am glad, glad with all my heart. How beautifully the poet describes the feeling of the lover. He says that I am glad, I am happy with all my heart, that so cleanly, so clearly, so easily I myself could free from you. For it is not so simple to get apart, to get free from beloved or wife. And the lover is happy to know, is happy to tell her that he has already separated himself from her, and she will no more get him in her life. And he is happy that so simply, so clearly, so freely, without any problem, he could free himself from her. This is what the poet wants to convey. This is what the poet finds there in the lovers in early stages. This is the early stage in which they do remark, they do present such remarks, they do present such opinions, and these opinions come out of their ignorance and nothing more than that. This all is nothing but the ignorance of the ignorant people. In second stanza, the poet further remarks, further mouths the feelings of the lover, who says, shake hand forever, cancel all our woes. Who suggests, who presents a suggestion before the partner that they should shake hand forever, for the whole of the life. They should say goodbye to one another, and they should also cancel all the vows that they have taken to live together for the whole of the life. The time has come in their life that they do not wish to live together anymore, and therefore they wish to say goodbye, to cancel all their bows that they have taken together to share, to live with one another happily in pleasure and pain, having a participation in the pleasure and pain of one another. Next, and when we meet at any time again, the situation has come to such a point that they wish even not to show a single mark of their former love in their brows, in their eyes at the time in future, if they by chance come to meet any time again. Shake hand forever, cancel all our bows, and when we meet at any time again, be it not seem, it should not be seem in either of their vows, either of the lover or of the beloved. No mark should be shown, no mark of former love should be shown, that be one jot of former love retain. Even a one jot of former love should not be shown in their eyes of the love they had in former life for each other. And now, in the later life, as the time proceeds, as the time passes by, gradually by and by, in the last phase of life, when everyone leaves the lover, leaves the person, he again recalls, he again remembers his beloved and says, reveals his views in such a words. Just look, friends, now at the last gasp of love's latest breath. Now, at the last gasp, gasp is a quick breath, and the time when the person goes to deathbed, lies on deathbed, there comes a gap, a quick pause, quick gasp in one's breath. And now at the last gasp of love's latest breath, and now when the lover is in the last stage, is in the final stage, is lying on deathbed and taking his last breath, this is the time when everyone has left him. This is the time when he says, this is the time when his pulse is going to fail. He feels that his pulse is going to fail now. When his passion goes speechless, when he finds himself unable to reveal his passion, reveal his thoughts, reveal his inner self, when he finds his pulse failing, when he finds his himself speechless when he is taking his last breath in life, and when his own faith is kneeling, when he finds his own faith kneeling by his bed of death, or you can say by his deathbed, and when innocence, when death, when truth, when time begins to close up his eyes, when innocence is closing up his eyes, when he does feel that he is going to die, his eyes are going to be closed by the innocence, by death, then in those hours of life, in those last moments of his life, he again remembers his beloved. He do remember, he do find a intense belief in him that now if you would have been there with him when all have given him over, when everyone has left him, from death to life do might him yet recover. Then in those last moments he feels that now if you would have been here, definitely your love, the love of his beloved, would might him recover from death to life. Friends, this is what the poet wants to convey to the whole of the humanity. Often we start our married life, often couples are seen starting their life happily, but with the passage of time they loses the gravity, the love, the depth, the passion that they should retain till the last breath of their life, as a result of which they find themselves unable to live happily together, and therefore they seek separation. But this separation is nothing but the incarnation of their ignorance, and of which they recall, they repent in their last time, but that's in vain, that's of no use. So just mark the poem, mark the words, mark the message, and live quietly, calmly, happily with your partner, with your loved ones. Don't miss the time to make love, to make harmony, to make peace, to make life enjoyable, to make life harmonious. Goodbye, friends. Have a good time.